Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I am here to talk about the 10 best rated books that I've read according to Goodreads. I do this every year. This is the 2023 edition, and I was inspired to do this by Perry from Literary. Perry hasn't created any new videos as of recent, but she was an extraordinary booktuber. I miss her very much, and I want to keep this thing going. The 10 best rated books that I've read according to Goodreads hasn't really changed as much as far as particular details are concerned. But there have been more ratings that have come into the picture, and there's some adjustments in the averages. So let's get right into it. The first book, the best rated book that I've read, according to Goodreads, as of January 14th, 2023, is Sleepwalkers by Nicole, Lanier, Montez. And this has an average Goodreads rating of 5.0. I gave it a rating of 5 stars, and I actually have the only rating on the site. But here is the opportunity for me to provide you with a pitch as to why you should read Sleepwalkers by Nicole, Lanier, Montez. Nicole Lanier Montez is of Black and Hispanic heritage, and her poetry has to do with her growing up as a Black and Hispanic girl, and the challenges, the struggles, and the hardships that she's dealt with. And if you are looking for poetry that really taps on the topics of social justice, then this is one that you should really check out. She recently got in touch with me, thanking me for a very positive review that I left for her. Next time I send her an email, I'll have to let her know that I mentioned her poetry collection again. And it just so happens that she came out with a new collection of poetry that I definitely want to get my hands on. It's called Standing in the Shadows of Freedom. And I'm really curious and inclined to see what subject matter, what approach, and what the execution is going to be within these poems that she's written as of recent. The next best rated book that I've read, according to Goodreads, is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This has an average Goodreads rating of 4.72. I gave it a rating of 4 stars, and there are a total of 152,570 ratings on the site. And I read this for the BookTube Prize in 2020. I was a judge in the nonfiction category, and I ranked Know My Name 4th out of 6th, and it ended up finishing in 1st. And I think that it really had an impact on people, because Chanel Miller really brings out a great deal of atmosphere when it comes to her experience of dealing with being raped at a party by Brock Turner, and the challenges that she had to go through being in her circumstance, and the impact that it would have on Brock Turner. But what he did was clearly wrong, and she clearly had a right to speak up for herself and go through the motions that she did, because it doesn't matter who you are. When you do something wrong, you deserve to pay the consequences. The next best rated book that I've read, according to Goodreads, is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. This has an average Goodreads rating of 4.62. I gave it a rating of 4 stars, and this is based off of 3,399,131 ratings. Even though J.K. Rowling has had her reputation soured within the last few years, the Harry Potter series continues to grow as a franchise, pick up a great deal of attention, and more ratings come in through Goodreads, and many of them are 4 or 5 stars. I would like to read some more books and hopefully have a great combination of material, because there are 4 out of 10 books on this list that are part of the Harry Potter series, but the Harry Potter series is such an admired franchise, and people have really read it and enjoyed it, and thus it reflects in their ratings. I didn't think the Deathly Hallows was the best one, though. My favorite is the Goblet of Fire. Deathly Hallows, out of the 7, I rank 6th. Only the Chamber of Secrets ranks lower, in my mind. Next best rated book that I've read, according to Goodreads, is The Nightingale by Kristin. And this has an average Goodreads rating of 4.6. I gave it a 5-star rating. I thought it was amazing. And there are a total of 1,048,654 ratings. It broke the million mark when it came to ratings on the site. But I think that it's rightfully deserved. It deserves to be on this list because it is a very meaningful and poignant work of literature, concentrating on the women of France during the Holocaust. We discussed it on our channel, and it was definitely something that I really am happy that we went over on our channel. The next one on my list is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. It has an average Goodreads rating of 4.58. I gave it a rating of 4 stars, and this is based off of 3,700,264 ratings. I thought The Prisoner of Azkaban was really where it started to pick up, even though I classify it as part of the first generation of Harry Potter books. I would say the first 3 can be grouped together. The Goblet of Fire is the turning point, and then the next 3 is where it really begins to get dark. And it especially starts to transition in the Half-Blood Prince. But number 6 on the list is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. Just like Prisoner of Azkaban, it has an average Goodreads rating of 4.58, but I gave it a rating of 5 stars. I thought it was, in my mind, the second best in the series. And this is based off of 2,983,860 ratings. I thought that the Half-Blood Prince was just brilliant in how it wasn't afraid to engage in honest conclusions of particular characters. Many major characters died in this piece or were injured in this piece. And it was just, it was extraordinary in how it set up for the last book. I think that it really gave the Deathly Hallows a high and strong pedestal to work with, which it was unfortunate that the Deathly Hallows didn't really, it was good, but it was 4-star rating good, but not to the point where we were wowed the way that the 6th book set it up to be. Number 7 on my list is Castle Swimmer Season 1 by Wendy Lian Martin. Has an average Goodreads rating of 4.58, but I only gave it 3 stars. I read this for a discussion on our channel. This was one of Dominica's picks, and I thought that the artwork was beautiful and extraordinary. It made me feel like I was in the moment, but there was a lot in this piece that I just thought it was okay, and that was merely that. And Castle Swimmer Season 1, it's based off of 3,294 ratings. Number 8 on my list is my favorite book in the Harry Potter series, and that's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. It has an average Goodreads rating of 4.57. I gave it a perfect 5 stars, and this is based off of 3,305,505 ratings. I was just engaged with the Goblet of Fire because I liked the tournament format. Me taking part in tournaments throughout high school, I was really engaged with everything that took place, how you had so much depth within the world of wizardry. And this is also the book where they had the major Quidditch tournament that they went to go see. And it was also where you got a backstory on Neville Longbottom. This is also the major turning point where you see your very first major death take place, and it proves to be a turning point that would really have an impact on the rest of the series. Number 9 on my list is The Complete Mouse by Art Spiegelman. It has an average Goodreads rating of 4.56. I gave it a 5-star rating, and this is based off of 192,208 ratings. Mouse is one of my all-time favorite graphic texts. I would say at this point it is my favorite graphic text. It is Spiegelman's illustration of his family history, and he does it so honestly. They're anthropomorphic animals. You can say that each animal represents a different background, like the Jewish people are represented by mice, the Germans are represented by cats, and so on and so forth. But it's only their heads that are represented that way. From the neck down, they're pretty much built like people. But I just really appreciated the honesty that Spiegelman wrote with. Not just with his father's story, but how his father told the story. He illustrated the interactions that they've had, and it just made for a meaningful work. And number 10 on my list is making its first appearance on my best rated books that I've read according to Goodreads, and I read it last year. And that is A Swim in a Pond in the Rain by George Saunders. Has an average Goodreads rating of 4.55. I gave it a 4-star rating, and this is based off of 13,779 ratings. I read this for the BookTube Prize, and it is a masterclass on the Russian short story. George Saunders picks out a few Russian short stories from major writers in Russian literature. You have Leo Tolstoy, Anton Chekhov, and some others. And he elaborates on different aspects of the piece at hand. And he takes different approaches, such as reading part of it and then going over some, and then reading more of it and going over some. And then there's some instances where you just read the story at hand. It plays like an English class, and I wish that there were more works like this. You have your celebrity masterclasses. You have your college classes. But it would be quite something if, be it someone like George Saunders, be it a writer, or just somebody like a college instructor that wants to publish a work of this nature, where they decide to take an area of interest and create a masterclass in the form of a book. And I thought that this was very rich in its nature. And I thought it was very, very hearty as far as getting what I expected was concerned. And I also think it'd be worth mentioning the anthology that I was published in, Speculations from New Jersey. It has a 5-star rating average on Goodreads, and it's based off of 5 ratings, which is quite. I'm happy that it's still has a good impression. And I encourage you to read Speculations from New Jersey, and I also encourage you to read Sleepwalkers by Nicole, Lanier, Montez, because I don't think enough people have read either one. Sleepwalkers, for sure, objectively speaking, is a great piece. Speculations from New Jersey, there's a bit of subjectivity because I have a short story in there. And a lot of good people have short stories in there. People that I interacted with when I was part of the Garden State Speculative Fiction Writers for quite a few years. I want to thank you for tuning into this video, and I hope you also tune in for the upcoming video where I talk about the 10 worst rated books that I've read, according to Goodreads 2023 edition. If you like what you see, please support us on Patreon, for the money that we make will allow us to provide you, the viewer, with even more great content. And as we speak, we are more than halfway to our first milestone of $50 per month. And I really want to get there because I really want to be able to release some more videos for you guys, because the ones that we're about to release are pretty good. I'll say so. For now, and as always, I encourage you to keep reading.